Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, a child was shot inside this home in Fayetteville during a drive-by shooting. Coming up, what we know about this investigation.
And it is a steamy start out there this morning, but that's not the way the day will end. And at least part of the weekend should feel comfortable. I'll show you when the humidity starts to drop.
And motorized parade floats could return as part of the Raleigh Christmas Parade, when the city will share some updates on the parade safety plans. That's a story we've been following very closely after what happened in the end of 2022 there. We'll get you an update on that story here in just a bit. First, we want to say thanks for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Catherine Brown. Shaping up to be a pretty decent weekend. Wow, it was loud last night, though, Elizabeth.
I understand that it was. I slept right through it. I tell you what, I was out like a light. But all the showers and storms are out of here, pushing toward the coast right now. Just a little bit of lingering cloud cover in a few places, but lots of sunshine peeking through. Right here, Southern Pines at Longleaf Golf and Family Club. We have a lone golfer out there enjoying what will be maybe the most pleasant part of the day. Late this afternoon and this evening, we may start to see our dew point dropping. But right now, it is 69, which is way over on the muggy side, and it's 75 degrees. So it's definitely a hot, sticky start to the day. Temperature 71 in Goldsboro, 70 in Roxboro, and 74 down there in Southern Pines. Hour by hour, we'll hit 85 by lunchtime and climb to nearly 90 this afternoon. Slowly, our front moves offshore and will open the door to some cooler, drier air that'll filter in. We may not feel it until around or after sunset, but we should feel it tomorrow. I'll show you what it will feel like with a drop in humidity and why the humidity may come back on Sunday. Coming up, Ken.
Oh, say it isn't so, Elizabeth. Checking the traffic this morning, we've got this incident we've been monitoring for you for the last hour or so. This is on I-40 westbound near Highway 55. There's a boat that was in the median there for a little while, closing down one lane. But right now, you see Durham County officers have moved it out. The tow truck is right there and about to pull it away. But we'll keep monitoring it. The slowdown that you see right now, really people just slowing down to see exactly what's going on. But traffic is moving smoothly in both directions. The few accidents we want to bring your attention to this morning. This one just happened in the last 15 minutes on Timber Drive in the westbound lane there near Aversbury Road down there in Garner. You can see from our sensors we're not picking up any major delays in that area, but just watch for the police activity if you happen to navigate that particular intersection down there in Garner. This crash right now is a serious crash. We're working to get more information about it, actually. This is on Buffalo Road in the southbound lane near Lake Wendell Road. Here again, we're not seeing any major delays in that area, but can't stress enough. You see police activity, slow down. Be mindful of that if you driving through that area. And really quickly, Falls of News Road in the southbound lane near Sandy Forks Road. No major delays to report as a result of that crash either.
Ken, thank you. WRAL is following breaking news about a child hurt during a drive-by shooting. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is in Fayetteville. Kelsey, I can clearly see there's an officer walking behind you, so still pretty active out there.
Chris, investigators have been here for more than 8 hours now, so we'll give you a look now at the house that they've been focusing their investigation on. Officers say bullets went through this home on Danish Drive during a drive-by shooting. A child was inside the house at the time and they were shot. Let's get you to video now from the WRAL breaking news tracker from earlier this morning. The shooting happened just after midnight and police are still searching for that shooter. We're working to get an update on the child's condition, so we'll be sure to stay on top of this investigation and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
WRAL following another police investigation in Johnston County this morning that spans 2 locations in Kenly. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joins us now live from the Johnston County Sheriff's Office with what we're piecing together about this incident.
When we arrived, we saw several sheriff deputies' cars on Christmas Light Road in Kenly. Now take a look at your screens. You're going to see some footage from that shooting. Now Johnston County deputies are investigating what appears to be a shooting, according to Broadcastify logs. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this investigation, but we're continuing to press the Johnston County Sheriff's Office for updates, especially when it comes to the status of that victim and a potential suspect. And we're going to continue sticking with this story and provide updates. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, Johnston County.
Last night's storms left behind slick roads, causing some trouble for drivers. At least 2 crashes happened along I-40 near Trailwood Road and Gorman Street. First responders were at the scene of one crash around 11 o'clock last night. But before that, you see this video right here? This video shows police cruisers in a car that appears to have hydroplaned and got turned around the wrong direction. There are no reports of any serious injuries with this, though.
Fire crews are working to learn what started a fire at a home in Clayton. This happened on Michael Way just before 8 o'clock last night. This video, sent to WRAL, shows smoke coming from the home. The Clayton Battalion chief says when they arrived, flames were coming from the right side of the house, and you can see that smoke billowing up there. They confirmed one woman was in the home. She was able to get out safely, but several neighbors say they believe the home is a total loss.
Turns out floats like these could be allowed back at Raleigh parades. It would be the first time since 11-year-old Haley Brooks was hit and killed by a truck while dancing in the 2022 Raleigh Christmas Parade. The NC Veterans Parade in November would be the first major parade in the city if we see these changes happen. Organizers remain hopeful after making the decision to cancel the parade last year because vehicles were not allowed.
There's a lot of our veterans now, we're in our 70s and 80s and 90s even. And to walk that route from down Fayetteville Street up to the Capitol is just too much for a lot of them.
Meaning the use of vehicles could make it a lot easier for people to participate. One safety recommendation involves having organizers provide proof of safety checks for vehicles, and that would be required within 30 days of an event. The city plans to gather feedback from the community and will present a plan of action to City Council June 18th.
4 people are in custody after allegedly kidnapping an 18-year-old in Fayetteville. And the teenage girl is safe, but authorities say 18-year-old Tiersten Cochran was taken from a home on Birchwood Way Thursday morning. An Ashanti alert went out. This is a voluntary nationwide communication network to help find missing adults between the ages of 18 and 64. She was found hours later in Virginia in good condition. 4 men ages 19 to 34, all from Tennessee, are charged with first-degree kidnapping and conspiracy.
This weekend, you have a chance to honor the lives of a family of 3 killed in a crash in Garner. It was an emotional day yesterday at a church in Ellenboro, North Carolina. There's also a weekend service planned for 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the Campbell family. That'll be in a building Summit Church uses on Vandora Springs Road. The funeral honors Tyler, Susie, and Miles Campbell, and it was held in the western part of the state yesterday. That's where the couple was from and attended high school before attending NC State.
The Campbells were genuine to the core, hospitable, joyful, open, lighthearted, and always ready for a good time with friends and family. They made relationships with their most important priority. Their empathy was boundless.
And as you saw in the video, Corinth Baptist Church was packed with loved ones remembering the impact the Campbells had in the community.
Well, the driver charged in that case, 25-year-old Jordan Porter, is facing 3 counts of second-degree murder. Police say he ran a red light going 82 miles per hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone and had alcohol and marijuana in his system as well as in his car. If you're wondering why we haven't shown you the mugshot, it's because Porter has not yet been served.
Well, the rings are the thing that everybody equates with the Olympic Games, right? I'm Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center, and they are in place now. This is our first look at the 5 Olympic rings mounted on the Eiffel Tower. And let me tell you, they're big. They are almost 30 feet across. Look at those workers up there in comparison to it. About 30 feet across for those. It's on the south side of the 135-year-old landmark right there in central Paris. They're made of recycled steel, those rings. Thousands of athletes will be parading through the heart of the French capital on boats. The Seine River is right on the other side of the Eiffel Tower there. That'll be at sunset July 26th. So we are 50 days out today. And by the way, the medals in Paris, when they are handed out for the games, they are embedded with chunks of iron from the Eiffel Tower. A little nuance
wow.
there. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And I like to see the video you showed. It gives a better perspective of how big those rings are. Thanks, Jeff. This morning, we'll get a better idea of how the U.S. jobs market is doing. In April, only 175,000 jobs were added. That makes it one of the weakest months in the past 3 years. It was also shy of economists' expectations. Economists estimate that May's job report could be similar. They're expecting job growth of 190,000 and an unemployment rate that holds just under 4%. Now, the report is due at 8:30, so it's only 21 minutes from now. We'll share the results when they come in.
The prosecution in Hunter Biden's trial is expected to rest their case today. What the president is saying about his son's legal troubles.
Plus, YouTube is introducing a new age restriction measure. My videos involving gun use are the center of these new policies.
And And it's a bit warm and sticky this morning, and it is going to be a hot afternoon, but we'll start to see our humidity falling later on. It should feel very comfortable Saturday, but I'll show you why the humidity could be back on Sunday coming up.
.13 on this Friday morning. Good morning to you. A live look at Wrightsville Beach right now. The sun is coming up. It looks like a gorgeous day there. Elizabeth, it may be a little humid, a little hot, but hey, you know, it's June in North Carolina.
It is what we expected. We did have a cold front, of course, come through last night, and that is going to deliver some slightly lower humidity to us. We may not start to feel that until late this afternoon or this evening, but you'll definitely feel it tomorrow morning and into the day tomorrow. We take a live look at Goldsboro. A little bit of cloud cover still holding there. Of course, that front is very slowly moving to the coast, so the farther east you are, the more clouds you may see. Almost completely clear here in Apex and in Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. Some pretty dappled sunshine there in Fayetteville at our newsroom. Here's a look at the big picture. We have our front that is pushing toward the coast. All the rain is gone out of our area at this point. We'll put that into motion. High pressure building in. High pressure systems have winds that rotate clockwise. So this high is grabbing some of that nice, cool, dry air, and gradually it'll start to push it in behind the front. The next thing that's going to happen is another front that's starting to develop here across parts of Texas and up into Kansas. We'll start to move in for Sunday, and that's going to change things up for us a little bit. This morning we're looking, this is Sunday. Sunday we're going to start off with a little bit of cloud cover. We'll see partly cloudy skies for a good chunk of the day. This version of Futurecast shows some showers ahead of the front moving in as early as 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is one of the earliest arrivals that I found on any of our models. So it may be a bit later in the afternoon before we start to see some of those showers and storms. So don't completely write off Sunday. Just keep checking back as we get more runs of the models. We'll have a little better idea of the timing. They're just kind of widespread in terms of what time we may see some of that rain on Sunday. In the meantime, Saturday morning should be very comfortable. If you like to get out in the morning for a run, you're headed for a bike ride, you know, whatever you're doing on Saturday morning, fishing, playing golf, it's going to feel comfortable. It will be hot in the afternoon at 88, but again, the humidity stays low, so in the shade, it should feel fine. Sunday, hotter and more humid, a high of 93, and a chance of storms, which could be in the afternoon, or it may be a little later into the evening. We check the tropics. We haven't had really anything to talk about just yet. We have some areas of convection, but nothing looking like it's going to develop in the next few days. However, next week we take a look at our tropical depression probability, and it goes up to 40 to 50% here across parts of Mexico. So we're going to be watching for that. You know, over the last 7 years, we have had early or at least early June our tropical development every year for the last 7. So April in 2017, it was May 2018 through the 21st. In the last 2 years, it was early June. But here we are at June, what is it, 7th, and we still don't have any development. That is definitely a good thing. Again, it's going to be a hot day Sunday, 93. We see a bit of a drop in our temperatures and humidity early next week. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, we're still monitoring that situation on the westbound lanes. And just in the last 30 seconds, the tow truck was able to pull a boat away that was in the median there for a second. You can see one of the DOT crews still on the scene right there. But you can see traffic flowing in both directions there in I-40 and Highway 55. Not a problem to report this morning, which is a very good thing. Also, around the triangle, you see a lot of crashes on our traffic map. They're mainly on local roads, not really affecting traffic this morning, but a couple of them I want to bring your attention to. This one on Timber Drive near Aversboro Road down there in Garner. We're not seeing any issues to report there in the Garner area around that intersection, but just look for the police activity just in case you have to navigate that intersection. This is a serious crash on Buffalo Road near Lake Wendell Road. We're not seeing any major delays in that area, but again, you just definitely want to watch for the police activity in that area. We're seeing something building right now on I-540. Again, that happened in the last minute. We were standing here. I'll give you an update about that in the next 10 minutes or so.
Let's hope that changes. Thank you, Ken. The prosecution in Hunter Biden's trial is expected to rest its case today after calling 2 additional witnesses. Those people were a forensic chemist and a DEA special agent. Biden's defense says it will decide whether to call an expert witness after the prosecution rests. Yesterday, the man who found Hunter Biden's gun in a trash can where Hallie Biden disposed of it testified. The jury also heard testimony from Hallie herself. Hallie and Hunter Biden were romantically involved after the death of her husband and Hunter's brother, Beau. The defense expects the case could be finished by Monday, including closing arguments. President Biden says he will not pardon his son Hunter if he is found guilty of federal gun charges. Biden also said he would accept the outcome of the trial, which will continue this morning in Delaware. Hunter Biden is accused of illegally purchasing and possessing a gun while abusing or being addicted to drugs. That's a violation of federal law, and it's the first time the child of a sitting U.S. president has ever been on trial.
Take a look at this home security camera video. It shows a person who looks to be disguised as an Amazon delivery worker taking a package from a front porch. The video shows the suspect there walking up to the door in clearly what looks like an Amazon vest. Then they grab a package delivered just 2 minutes earlier and replace it with a fake. Durham police are still trying to find that suspect a month after the theft. WRAL met with the homeowner who wanted to remain anonymous for their safety.
Are you afraid he's going to do it again to other people? Or?
Oh, yeah, possibly. He had a plan. He had an empty box that had somebody else's name on it from another city.
Durham police says they don't see a trend yet, but certainly don't want this to become one. They say the next time you order a package, require a signature or request a specific date and time so you'll know and be there when it's delivered. If that's not possible, maybe hold packages at a shipping service.
And also maybe have a neighbor hold it as well. We do have a tragic update about a dog in Goldsboro that was dumped on the side of the road. And I really want to warn you here, the video is hard to watch. Sadly, Samantha did not make it. The woman who found the dog believes that Samantha was dumped on Ferry Bridge Road Tuesday night intentionally. She posted a Facebook saying Samantha died overnight Wednesday. Authorities encourage you to report seeing an abandoned dog if you see one right away.
The final frontier is calling, and Boeing and SpaceX are answering. Chanley Painter takes a look at how the latest outer space adventures are fueling excitement about future endeavors among the stars.
3, 2, 1.
A slew of successful space missions is igniting new hope for future explorations.
You are go to command final approach.
Applause filling the International Space Station as astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore arrived on Boeing's Starliner spacecraft Thursday. The test flight marking the first time astronauts have flown on Boeing's rocket to the ISS. Despite encountering some technical difficulties along the way.
We ended up losing a total of 5 thrusters. Now, we recovered 4 of these 5 thrusters.
The fortunate flight could bring NASA closer to allowing Boeing to conduct regular missions like this to the ISS.
Drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
This comes as SpaceX's Starship also blasted off Thursday. It's the largest and most powerful rocket in the world, and one NASA hopes could bring people to the moon and Mars in the future.
Starship now flying faster than the speed of sound.
Starship later returning to Earth over the Indian Ocean. This was the craft's 4th try to make it to space and back without exploding. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk posting to X, formerly Twitter, quote, "Despite loss of many tiles and a damaged flap, Starship made it all the way to a soft landing in the ocean. Congratulations at SpaceX team on an epic achievement."
That was Chanley Painter reporting. While SpaceX is celebrating the re-entry, Boeing's Starliner is expected to remain at the International Space Station for at least 8 days before it lands in the western U.S. Well, major companies involved in artificial intelligence growth under a federal investigation this morning. Microsoft, ChatGPT creator OpenAI, and chip maker NVIDIA, all being investigated by the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC is investigating whether Microsoft structured one of its latest deals with an artificial intelligence startup to avoid a government antitrust review of the transaction. This comes as antitrust officials at the FTC and the Justice Department are nearing a final agreement on how to jointly oversee AI giants.
YouTube is strengthening its policies on gun-related videos. The company announced the change that prohibits videos showing how to remove safety devices from firearms. YouTube is also restricting any content about automatic weapons and some firearm accessories for viewers under the age of 18. The changes happen June 18th.
Some flight attendants are preparing to strike. The union representing flight attendants for American Airlines declined a 17% raise. Rejecting that offer brings American Airlines flight attendants one step closer to going on strike. They haven't had a pay raise since before the pandemic. The union says federal mediators will meet with the two sides next week to try and reach a deal. The union has already opened a strike command center to help its members. Well, you can help keep the beach you enjoy each summer clean with the Cape Hatteras National Seashore's first ever Adopt a Beach program. Groups are invited to pick a 2-mile stretch of coastline to remove trash 4 times a year. And for the first year, officials are adopting out 18 sections of the beach. The 75-mile stretch of seashore preserves a portion of the Outer Banks. You can sign up on the National Park Service's website.
State lawmakers have compromised on a proposed mask ban, the new measure being brought to the House next week.
And women's sports fans, a big day for you today at Wake Med Soccer Park. Still to come, who the U.S. women will face in their match at noon.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Your time is 8:26. I am Chris Lovingood with some of your top stories. But first, a check-in with Elizabeth Gardner.
It's a beautiful looking morning out there right now. We take a live look at Apex and you can see all this blue sky. We're seeing that across most of the viewing area. But when you look at the temperatures, it's warm out there. 73 in Fayetteville and Lewisburg, 74 in Southern Pines, Tarboro, South Hill at 75. And it's also humid, so it's going to make a good day to head to the pool. We're going to warm up quickly into the mid-80s at lunchtime. We'll see a high of 89. This evening, you should notice a nice drop in our humidity. It will be dry today and Saturday should feel comfortable with low humidity too. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening in the WRAL Traffic Center. Things are beginning to thin out quite a bit. Just the traffic accidents that you're seeing right now on the traffic map on local roads not really affecting your major thoroughfares this morning. Nothing but green showing up in the Triangle and surrounding communities. The one thing we're seeing, those southbound lanes on 885 in Durham just backing up just a bit, but that's about it to report. But so wherever you're going this morning, I think you're going to get there on time.
Thank you, Ken. Police in Kenley appear to be investigating reports of a shooting that's coming from radio logs from law enforcement. Several sheriff's cars were on Christmas Light Road overnight. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this investigation. That is why WRAL is pressing the Johnston County Sheriff's Office for updates in that story. And storms last night made for dangerous roads. At least 2 crashes happened along I-40 near Trailwood Road and Gorman Street. Authorities were at that crash at the scene of 11, but no injuries reported. Next on Fox 50, local events for National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And up next on Today, the summer concert series continues with Meghan Trainor on the Plaza.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A child was shot in a drive-by overnight. What we're hearing from Fayetteville police about the attack.
And it is awfully sticky out there as you head out the door. We're sitting at steamy with a muggy meter. I'll show you when that starts to drop down to a more comfortable level.
And for the first time, the women will begin playing today at the soccer tournament in Cary. How players are feeling ahead of today's matches. Probably excited. There's $1 million on the line. It's a lot of money.
Well, they're competitive people. They're going to all be rooting for it.
Everybody wants to win it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here this morning on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Catherine Brown. As Elizabeth was mentioning, a little sticky as you head out there today, but better days on the horizon, maybe.
So we had a cold front move through last night. Everybody that I've talked to in here heard the rumbles of thunder last night. I slept right through it. But it's moved to the coast at this point. We're still stuck with a fairly sticky air mass, but we'll start to see cooler, drier air filtering in during the day today. A live look at North Hills says pretty this morning, just a little bit of cloud cover, but mostly blue sky. But it's 75 degrees with a dew point of 69, and that is fairly uncomfortable in terms of a dew point. 73 in Fayetteville, 74 Rocky Mount, 75 in Durham. So we're warming up pretty quickly. We'll be in the mid-80s at lunchtime, and we'll see a high of near 90 this afternoon. It may be late this afternoon or the evening before you start to notice a drop in the humidity, but tomorrow morning it should feel pretty comfortable, as well as the day on Saturday. But another front comes through on Sunday that's going to bump up our humidity, possibly bring us some showers and thunderstorms. I'll take a look at when you might see some of those starting to pop up. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:31, we want to take a look at what's going on the traffic map this morning. It's really thinned out quite a bit, but a few accidents incidents we want to tell you about, just to make you aware. This one is on Glenwood Avenue in the northbound lane near Glen Eden Drive there in North Raleigh. We're not seeing any major delays in that area. Just probably if you run into delays, probably people just stopping to see what's going on. But look for police activity in that area. This is a crash that just happened in the last 10 minutes or so on Falls of Noose Road in the westbound lane along Stonegate Drive. We're not seeing any delays in that area as well. But again, just watch for that police activity. We'll give you a live look now at I-40 and Highway 55. Just a little while ago, there was a boat in the middle of the road. Nothing major to report at this point. Everything flowing nicely in both directions. We do have one more crash I want to tell you about that happened that we've been monitoring. And look at that. It's cleared up. Just the lingering delays you see right there on Highway 70, which is a good thing this hour of the morning. And another crash that we've been following right here at Falls of News that's cleared up as well. And of course, on a Friday morning, that's what you want to hear.
Ken, thank you. WRAL is following breaking news about a child hurt during a drive-by shooting. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is in Fayetteville. And Kelsey, at one point we saw officers out there, but have things changed in the last 30 minutes?
Chris, officers cleared the scene in about the past 15 minutes or so, but they were here investigating for more than 8 hours outside of this home. So officers say bullets went through this home on Danish Drive during a drive-by shooting. A child was inside the house at the time and they were shot. Now let's take you to video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from earlier this morning. The shooting happened just after midnight and police are still searching for that shooter. We're working to get an update on the child's condition, so we'll be sure to stay on top of this investigation and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
WRAL is following a police investigation in Johnston County this morning that spans 2 locations in Kendley. WRAL's Heidi Kirk was at the Johnston County Sheriff's Office this morning and has the latest on this incident.
When we arrived, we saw several sheriff deputies' cars on Christmas Light Road in Kenley. Now, take a look at your screens. You're going to see some footage from that shooting. Now, Johnston County deputies are investigating what appears to be a shooting, according to Broadcastify logs. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this investigation, but we're continuing to press the Johnston County Sheriff's Office for updates, especially when it comes to the status of that victim and a potential suspect. And we're going to continue sticking with this story and provide updates. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, Johnston County.
Well, last night's storms left behind slick roads, causing some trouble for drivers. At least 2 crashes happened along I-40 near Trailwood Road and Gorman Street. Responders were on the scene of one crash around 11 o'clock last night. And before that, this video shows police cruisers in a car that appears to have hydroplaned. You can see it there turned around the wrong way in that highway. No reports of any injuries associated with these accidents, though.
Today is National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and this morning, Wake County Sheriff Willie Rowe and Raleigh Police Chief Estella Patterson will meet with Congresswoman Deborah Ross and other local leaders. They'll talk about ways to address gun violence within our communities. The FBI says so far this year, there have been more than 298,000 firearm background checks in North Carolina alone. That is down 8% compared to this time last year.
Well, floats like these could be allowed in Raleigh parades once again. It would be the first time since 11-year-old Haley Brooks was hit by a truck while dancing in the 2022 Raleigh Christmas Parade. A city spokesperson says special event staff met with parade organizers to review the city's protocols surrounding motorized parades. The Shine Like Haley Act advocates for vehicle safety inspections done at least 7 days prior to a parade. One of the act's co-sponsors says he's thankful safety measures are being considered.
I applaud the fact that Raleigh is considering this, and it looks like that if these rules pass, that we will see vehicles again.
One safety recommendation involves having organizers provide proof of safety check for vehicles within 30 days of an event. The city plans to gather feedback from the community and will present a plan of action to City Council on June 18th.
Authorities took 5 juveniles into custody after several car break-ins this week. Butner police found these 9 guns on your screen in the search for the suspects. 5 of these weapons are reportedly stolen. This all started with a series of 4 vehicle break-ins Tuesday morning in the RTP area. Butner police found the suspected vehicle involved and determined it was stolen from Wake County. Now, after using a search warrant, they found all of these stolen weapons. Dozens of juvenile petitions have been filed against the 5 people in this case. And Chapel Hill police are looking for a hit-and-run suspect. Look at your screen here. This is Brianna Beasley. Police say yesterday morning she hit a cyclist at the intersection of Franklin Street and Keenan Street. They say she initially stopped, then left before giving any information. The cyclist was taken to the hospital and is expected to live. Beasley is reportedly driving a black Honda Pilot, has North Carolina tags that read TFL 4785, and there is a warrant out for her arrest regarding a felony hit and charge run.
New this morning, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is coming to Washington. The Prime Minister will speak before Congress on July 24th. All top leaders of the U.S. House and Senate signed on to the letter inviting Netanyahu. It's not clear yet whether the Prime Minister's visit to Washington will include a meeting at the White House.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, the latest test of the U.S. economy's resilience is out right now. The May jobs report. I want to get you a closer look at some of the numbers right here. It was expected by economists to produce about 190,000 jobs, so that gives you a pretty good idea when you see 272,000 jobs. Unexpectedly robust is how it's been termed right there. Now, employers obviously not too scared off of hiring folks with the high interest rates right now. They're still finding workers willing out there. But what this does is the European Central Bank, the Bank of Canada, they've recently lowered their interest rates, and that fueled some thought that the U.S. Could be closer to doing the same right here. But this pretty much reduces thoughts of that right now. The Federal Reserve trying to lower interest rates anytime soon.
80,000 more jobs than expected. Thanks, Jeff. State lawmakers came to an agreement on a proposed public mask ban. Masking for health reasons, that's okay, but masks for protests are not. A few weeks ago, Senate Republicans passed a bill that removed COVID-era health exemptions. Under that bill, people who wore masks in public for health reasons would have faced penalties. But the new compromise allows for wearing a medical or surgical mask to prevent the spread of disease. The Senate passed the bill yesterday, and the House is expected to pass it next week.
For the first time, the women will begin play today at the soccer tournament at WakeMed Soccer Park. Former U.S. women's national team players have formed their own team and have plans to win that $1 million prize. Former UNC Tar Heel and NC Courage player Heather O'Reilly is motivated to win on the same field she's won at both collegiately and professionally.
I just had a lot of pride that this venue was selected, and I know they did their research, right? They obviously, scoured the country looking for, a good facility to do it at, and obviously the town of Cary and NCFC, everybody is collaborating because they see the benefit of this and the value that it can bring everybody.
O'Reilly and the U.S. women begin play at noon today versus Streetball Canada.
Just in case you were keeping track, we are 1 week away from the U.S. Open returning to Pinehurst. The USGA put together an interactive experience that intends to grow the game while honoring its history. A large event tent is open to anyone until Sunday, even if, plot twist, you don't have a ticket. Now, once inside, you can see the trophy that the champion will take home, and you do not need a ticket again until Sunday night at 6. On Monday, when practice rounds for the championship begin, that is when you will need a ticket.
The Boston Celtics showing up in a big way, defeating the Dallas Mavericks in Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. Jaylen Brown and Duke star Jason Tatum combined for 38 points, including this one. Brown takes it to the basket for a slam dunk there. The Celtics won 107-89. And a little tidbit for you, a little something to keep in mind. 70% of teams who win Game 1 end up taking the NBA Finals.
Overnight storms brought some intense lightning to the area. We've got a look at the WRAL weather cams that capture the light show like that after the break.
And Apex is having an LGBTQ plus Pride Parade celebration this weekend, just one of the events that we'll cover in this week's Out and About with Kathy Hanrahan coming up.
And we do want to give you a live look right now this morning over Sanford. Look at that. It's calm and quiet compared to last night. After the break, we are going to check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner to find out, is the rest of the weekend going to look like that? Hope so. Getting you a live look outside right now at the Legislative Building in Raleigh. May need a A little more bandwidth there. It's kind of lagging there just a little bit. But the main point, look at the sky, the blue. That's what we care about. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has more blue. Again, showing Carolina Beach when we have to be here. What is this?
Well, you know, it's Friday, and I never show Carolina Beach. I try to save it, you know, for the weekend because it is such a tease. I mean, you're exactly right, but I couldn't resist. It's so pretty there. The cold front is gradually shifting off the coast, but they're already seeing plenty of sunshine there in Carolina Beach, and it does look lovely. Around here, it's a little hot and sticky, 75 degrees. Our winds are calm right now. I'm hoping that's going to be where we're starting to switch the winds. We have to switch our winds today to northwesterly in order to get this cooler, drier air mass in. So hopefully that's going to happen here in the next couple of hours. 85 degrees, our temperature at lunchtime, and we'll climb to around 90 this afternoon. Love this photo. This was from last night before the storms rolled through. Tammy Turner sent us this from Falls Lake. It should be a lovely evening at Falls Lake, both today and tomorrow. We are going to see our temperatures and our humidity bumping up a little bit for Sunday, so we'll be talking about that. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers. We would love to see what is happening in your backyard. Send us some photos. 89 in Raleigh, Durham, and in Fayetteville. It's 92 for the high today. Right now we're sitting at steamy, and boy, we haven't seen that come down at all today. Now, it should by tonight drop down to comfy and should stay comfy all day tomorrow. But Sunday, it's likely to creep back to steamy because of a cold front headed our way. You can see we got some ups and downs with our muggy meter from on the more comfortable side today and even Monday to steamy for tomorrow and then maybe even into Wednesday and Thursday. Here's why. Cold front pushing toward the coast is kicking all this humidity out. The green shaded area is where we have a lot of humidity. So it is going to be moving out today. It's going to take its time, but eventually we'll see our wind shifting to northwesterly. It's going to usher in a very pleasant feeling air mass. But notice how we start to see more moisture building back to the west, more humidity. That comes swinging in later on Sunday. So it's going to feel stickier and hotter ahead of the front. The front comes through with a small chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day on Sunday. Now that front moves to our south and again opens the door to some cooler, drier air filtering in. So it should be more comfortable again on Monday. So we see these ups and downs because of the fronts that are moving across the area. Now, in time for the Kane Brown concert tonight at PNC, it should begin to feel more comfortable. It's going to be pretty warm at 5 o'clock if you're tailgating ahead of the show, 88 degrees. But when the show lets out, it should be comfortable at 75. The Durham Bulls have a homestand this weekend, fireworks tonight and tomorrow. This evening should feel pretty comfortable. We should start to see that drier air mass working its way in. And Saturday looks good. We're dry all the way into Sunday, but we do have that small chance for some thunderstorms maybe late on Sunday. So we'll be watching Sunday's forecast. Sunday definitely going to look a little bit hotter and more humid. We'll see temperature around 93 for the high on Sunday, but we drop things down. The morning lows are interesting to watch too. Tomorrow morning, if you're, say, a morning runner, it's going to feel very comfortable at 62.
Elizabeth, thank you. A roof at this 7-Eleven in Florida fell on a car with people inside. This happened after a severe thunderstorm. A possible tornado moved through last night in Castleberry. That's about 12 miles north of Orlando. Authorities say no one was hurt and the gas pumps were turned off quickly.
All right, I want to show you this right now. Our Pinehurst cam at the Pinehurst Resort and Country Club captured a lot of lightning last week. See that in the top left corner? The U.S. Open is returning to Pinehurst next week, so hopefully the different kind of water hazard doesn't happen there on the course. We are hoping for some dry weather at Pinehurst #2 when the championship gets underway.
A new WRAL documentary exposes the growing gang problem in North Carolina. Experts told our WRAL investigative documentary reporter Kristen Severance there are 50 gangs in Raleigh and hundreds more across the state. Crimes tied to gangs including shootings, robberies, and drugs. Our doc team interviewed gang members, law enforcement, and explored programs trying to reach kids early.
Raleigh has a very big gang problem. Very big gang problem.
The South has seen an explosion over the last 20 years in Bloods, Crips, Sureños, Norteños, Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, and the list goes on and on.
The documentary also explores programs trying to reach young people before they go down the wrong path. You can watch Easy Targets, Gangs Getting Younger in North Carolina anytime on WRALdoc.com.
Alex Jones agreed to liquidate his assets to pay the families affected by the Sandy Hook school shooting. Jones owes more than $1.5 billion for publicly insisting the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax. The family sued Jones for defamation and emotional distress. In 2022, a jury found him liable, and as of now, the families have not received a dime. Not yet, anyway. The liquidation means that Jones will lose control of his InfoWars brand that is a company he founded in 1990.
A lot of people getting outside these days, but snake bite season is here. Dozens of people in North Carolina are already being treated in local emergency rooms. So far this year, at least 50 people have received anti-venom treatment through Duke, UNC, and WakeMed hospitals, including 6 so far this week. North Carolina is home to 6 venomous snake species. The state wildlife department says copperheads are the most dangerous, making up roughly 90% of our state's venomous bites. If you get bitten, doctors say you need to keep as still as possible and get to an emergency room.
Most of the things that people do cause harm. Even something as simple as ice, we shouldn't apply ice to it. Definitely don't cut anything. Sucking doesn't work and actually can increase the size of the wound. Do not put a tourniquet on.
Fortunately, fatal snake bites are extremely rare, but doctors say you should certainly be extra careful next time you're outside, especially around dawn and dusk.
So if you're afraid of spiders, this may creep you out. There are reports of a large invasive jumping spider invading the East Coast. Okay, let's keep going. It's called the Joro spider. They're about 1 inch long and legs can span up to 4 inches. Some people are covering their faces here in the studio. The spiders are from East Asia, but could start showing up in northern states, including Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware this summer. They were found here in North Carolina and other southern states back in 2022. These spiders are venomous, but a bite from them, it's not deadly. There's some good news, though, as they are relatively harmless to you and your pets, but they can still stay away from me, Catherine.
Snakes and spiders, that's not my ballgame.
Nope.
All right, Costco is no longer selling books year-round. This is a major blow to the publishing industry. The New York Times reports the wholesale retailer will only bring out books for the holidays and some special promotions. Costco executives say they're looking to cut back on labor costs associated with stocking books. And that's because workers have to stock books by hand, as opposed to most other items that can be rolled out on pallets.
Yes, the summer concert season. It is heating up, and it is a great time to get out and about. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has details about where and when you can see live music this weekend. And Kathy, there are some pretty big shows happening tonight in Raleigh.
3 big concerts are happening tonight. Now, first, country star Kane Brown is over at the PNC Arena with his In the Air tour. He's going to actually be joined by North Carolina band Parmalee. So that's a really big one. Also tonight, former One Direction member Niall Horan over at Walnut Creek. And then you got Babyface over at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
And so there's a lot of other stuff that's happening.
And then tomorrow, Steep Canyon Rangers, Booth Amphitheater, Brothers Osborne at Redhead Amphitheater. I mean, it just doesn't stop. It's so many.
In June, for those who don't know, it's Pride Month. Talk a little bit about events happening this weekend in the area.
Okay, yes, we've got Apex is going to hold its annual Pride Festival on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Town Hall campus on Hunter Street. The event's going to include music, food, games, vendors. There's even going to be a special kids zone with inflatables. Admission is free. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in that regard. Also, let's talk about Juneteenth, because it isn't officially June 19th, but there are so many celebrations happening throughout this month. What's happening this weekend? So much stuff all month long. Okay, the town of Morrisville is celebrating Juneteenth on Saturday at Shiloh Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's going to be music, historical presentations, food trucks, games, so much going on. And they're going to have a new mural they're going to be unveiling. Admission is free. And of course, to get more information about these events and other things to do this weekend, you just go to WRAL.com and search the keywords out and about. Thanks, Kathy.
Well, this year, parents are looking to entertainment for some baby name inspiration. The parenting site Baby Center found the most popular names this year are inspired by movies and TV. For instance, Chani, the character played by Zendaya in Dune Part 2, has been trending. Similarly, the name Percy from Disney Plus show Percy Jackson and the Olympians is a hit for both boys and girls. Bridgerton also having a bit of a moment with Penelope, Charlotte, Anthony, or Antony if you prefer, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, also hot picks.
How about Megan? This is Megan Thee Stallion. PNC Arena showed her some love. That was a transition there. Hope it was clean. Check this out, what they gave to her. PNC Arena gave her a custom jacket. They posted this video on social media. It has her name on it and a nod to the Carolina Hurricanes. Megan Thee Stallion stop in Raleigh as part of her Hot Girl Summer Tour. Before we go to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. We'll be back with a check in traffic and weather in just a second.